All right, how to post-process parts from Fusion 360. I'm actually going to grab a different file here because it depends on the customer. There are two ways to do it. In this case, this is one tool, so we could come up here to the setup and hit post-process. We would make sure that we have the correct machine post-processor selected. So in this case, Art would use this Mach 4 mill, and then we would select our output folder. I'm just going to throw it into the downloads for now. Arts is in the tap extension, but that's selected by the post, so we don't really need to change anything here. None of this needs to be changed, and then we can just hit post. And there is our output code. We could probably read through this if we wanted to. So there's the header information, absolute coordinates, yada, 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 yada. G20's inches. This is select switches, the vertical planes, yada, yada, yada. We just moved through. No, actually, that one's, I don't remember. Doesn't matter. This one is important, though, but we'll get into that when we talk about work offsets. So, close that. All right, I mentioned there's two kind of ways that we do this. Most of the time that works decently. There is an alternative to such things, especially when working with people that are working with routers that don't have tool changers. As we get into the tool library and other things, we'll get into that as well. So here is a different, I'm working on this, so if we were going to export this one, for example, we would do one tool at a time, and the reason is because this customer does not have an automatic tool changer, so we want to make sure that we send him the files separately. So we're going to group them together by tool. So that's going to be, we're going to take a look and say, okay, what tool is this? I happen to know this is a ball mill. In the future, I'm going to make sure that all the tools are renumbered, but right now you do have to be careful. So tool 1 is a ball nose. This one is a 3/8 end mill. It's not the same tool, even though they're both tool 1. Previously, the reason we did all tool 1 is it saves him a step on the machine. So if they're both named the same tool, it will, he resets the height every time, so it really doesn't matter. But it makes it a little easier on him. But it could cause issues for us, so we are going to switch that. So in the future, all tools will be different, but right now the older programs have all tools being the same. All right, so this ball nose one we would export separately because we wouldn't want him to take the ball nose and immediately start cutting with this one. So post-process. And we would label this 1001 or whatever the file name is for this setup. So post, yep, and then we would find the tools that are all the same. So why is that selected? I've had this happen before. All right, that's fixed. Then we would select the tools that are the same. So this one, this one, this one, that finishing operation, the outer contour, drilling. That one's not the same tool. That's a drill bit. So these are all done with the 3/8 inch end mill. So we'd select them together, and then we'd hit post-process. And then we would give it the next file name or whatever file name it's supposed to be. And we would do this until we are complete. We finish the tools, and it matches the documentation. So this is a different size bit than this, so this is a tool change. So this one is by itself. Also, before we leave and you post something, you should check the configuration and just make sure that this looks right. So by that I mean, do check the origin. It should be right at the edge of the stock in the center for art, but if it's ever moved or there's something wrong with it, we need to know. This one's a little finicky because there's some extra stuff in here because of the way that the tool paths were imported from another. That won't happen again in the future, but this is what you should see. And you work your way through the tools. So sometimes setup 1 and setup 2 can be inverted. In this case, if you remember, we went over this in the output folders. Setup 2 is actually setup 1 in Fusion. And I don't know if you can rename, I don't think you can rename this setup. So it doesn't look like you can. But here, I'll put them in the right order. So that is correct. This side goes first. And then setup 3 is entirely separate. It is for the programming of the pickguard, but I moved that to a different file. So we can, that's not there anymore. All right, so setup 1, setup 2. Yeah, so you'd move through all your exports and they would be on your desktop at that point.